Here to share our story about our son and our family.
My son has suffered from Cannabinoid Hyperemesis Syndrome since 2019, late 2019. Landed him in the hospital multiple times. Countless times where I can't even count anymore. And right now he's home. He's sick. Last time I took him into the hospital, the nurse is like, "That's ridiculous. He can't lose 10 pounds within 24 hours." And I looked at her and I said, "Yes, he can. Yes, he can." It's a parent's nightmare. You slowly see your son's life go, just his life walk right in front of your eyes, and you can't do nothing about it. You can't do nothing about it but watch him slowly fade away.
He's 23 years old. We all know him as Junior. He's my only son. He's a twin. His twin is a girl, and he's been going through this process for about 9 years. In and out. He's going through it as we speak. It wasn't like in the first weeks or months when he started going through this that we even knew what it was. First you're in denial, not my kid, not my child, not us. We're Mexican, we don't go through this. We're family oriented. And you don't know other people that's going through it. Not in the first phases. After a while, you start meeting people, good people that are going through the same thing. And then you start realizing, yeah, that's me. We're going through this also. Just takes a while.
He started smelling, and we would find it in the room. He would hide outside of the house. But, I guess you as a parent, when things are not right, I tell my husband, I said, I know when he's using. I know when something's not right. I said, I know it. Even before I see him. I don't have to see him. He doesn't have to say anything, but I already know. It's that motherly instinct. You can tell your child there's something not right. But as time went by, there was signs, you see he didn't have the same set of friends, attitude. He was 15, 16, so he started running away, arguing, fighting, and he usually was never like that. Stopped going to school. Bright kid, and just stop.
He hides away more, dodges family events. And then the uglier side, more combative, challenges everybody, the parents, arguments, just out of place arguments. gets angry, just wants to challenge you. We had our moments where he, I think a few times I had to call the cops.
We didn't know what it was at first. We were like, he's like, my stomach, throwing up, just, I can't eat, my stomach. And it was like nothing was helping. So we would go to the hospital and they're like, they couldn't figure out. I mean, it was CAT scans, x-rays, ultrasounds, and nothing was showing up, We had a friend and one doctor at Memorial Hermann in the Med Center. And a friend, at that time, Junior had already been to his first rehab. And it was one of the moms, and she's become a good friend, advocate. And she's like, have you ever heard of Cannabinoid Hyperemesis Syndrome? I was like, no, what is that? So, and the doctor, that same day, my husband had taken him into Memorial Hermann in the Met Center. So, my husband, so the doctor walks in and they ask him, do you smoke? And of course he's like, no. And my husband and the doctor's like, well, if you do, this is what it is. And, the doctor started explaining, and it it all fit in together, and we were like, no, we didn't know what it was up until then. And 2020 probably went into the hospital while COVID was going on 20, 30 times. There is no cure. There is not something that's gonna take care of the discomfort, the pain. You only get some relief for a short period of time.
At first, when I would confront him about, the marijuana smell, they don't like it. They don't like it. And like I said, I was very green, and I would raise my voice, and I wouldn't put my hands on him. And he would raise his voice, and I would raise my voice, and it turned into an argument. And when he was under the influence, and it turned into that, like I said, I would have to call the cops a few times because it got pretty loud. Pretty loud. The girls start crying. My mother lived with me. My parents lived with us for a while. So she got to see my mother. My dad passed in 2014, so he didn't get to see that. But my mother did. So, everybody get tense and sad and crying. The girls would cry. So it took me a while to understand what I needed to do. I'd pick up a book, or, well, and this time, you don't pick up a book, you pick up your phone. I would read and look for things to help me how to handle certain situations. And it helped me because I never hit my hands on him. I always felt like I was going to hurt him. And I didn't want to do that. One time we had a sheriff female come over. She was like, how come you don't kick his ass? I said, no, I'm not going to show my daughters this is normal. Traumatize them more than they already will be. So I never did, I was angry. I don't think I'm angry anymore.
for me, it was an issue right away. It's a red flag. I you don't want your kid going down that path. You'll always feel like, no, that's not what I want for my kid. And as time goes by, you realize, like, no, it's like one thing leads to another. It's not only I'm going to smoke weed, no, because that it leads to something stronger. Every time, it leads to more and more, to him constantly. I mean, there was a point where I would see him, about, I guess, within an hour span, going out the house to the backyard about 7 times within an hour. I'm like, yeah. And of course, you're like, that's, so you're wasting your life away, your potential, you've got a whole life ahead of you. So from 2020 to 2021, off and on, off and on, he did progress to harder drugs in that time. He did overdose at home. And then he got sober for almost 3 years. He relapsed again, and we're here. Multiple relapses after that. And the same thing happens. He goes back to, and every time it's a shorter span. And you can tell, like, he'll start not wanting to eat or barely can handle any food, and all of a sudden, I'm not hungry, to getting in the hot tub to find some comfort and relief, to having to either call for mobile hydration, the mobile IVs to come in and hydrate him, or we go to the ER. And it's just hydration, but there is no relief for the pain and discomfort.
He's at home, in pain, throwing up, in and out of the tub, hot water. There's not many medicines for him to take for that. There's no cures for it. Just relief. Throws up. If he's sick for 2 weeks, he'll throw up just about nearly 2 weeks. 24 hours a day. He'll be throwing up 24 hours. So me, my wife, his sisters, we become his caretakers until it blows over and he gets better.
March of this year, he was hospitalized for the same reason. And he was upset. And, then, so I asked the nurse, I said, hey, how many days are we going to be here? She's like, well, I said, by the way, I said, he has a heart monitor. I said, he had like a little, aside from the regular one that they put at the hospital, it was like a little square. And they had to tape it up, and he had to wear it, and he had to walk around with it. I said, why is that? And she's like, well, because of his use with marijuana, his heart rhythms are irregular. So we're monitoring, and I said, oh, okay, well. She's like, yeah. I said, wow, okay. So, I said, hey, this, oh, no, it's not because of that, It's because I've been throwing up. And I said, yeah. I said, again, we go back to, he's like, no, it's my gastritis. And I said, okay. And I'm like, hey, you can lie to yourself, but the facts are here. medically, this is what the doctors are telling us.
Well, as a father, head of house, it's not only dealing with that issue. You have to help your wife. Or at least that's what you feel like you got to do. Because somebody's got to be stronger. So you got to play the role. And you have daughters. You have 3 other human beings, that you have to figure out what you're going to do and say or not do and say. But especially with the mother, it's been tough for her. It was really, really hard for her. Dealing with it, the sentimental part of it, being sad.
It takes a toll on all of us, because of course it's like not like you want to see him like this. You don't want to see him go through this, and he's got a twin sister and 2 younger sisters, and the younger one is like always trying to comfort him, like right now that he's going through it. What can I get for you? What do you want? And he's like, oh, I don't want her to know that I'm sick. And I was like, but it's obvious. There's nothing we can hide. To the middle one kind of resenting the fact that he keeps on relapsing on this, because we go back to the same spot. Him and his twin sister have stopped talking for months. And she has like put her boundaries on him. Like, if I'm going out, you're not coming with me. I'm not going to be a part of that. I'm not having a drink with you. You're not allowed to drink. You need to stay sober. She's set her boundaries straight with him.
It's hard. It's hard to analyze it because, I don't use drugs. The marijuana and stuff. I don't. I've never have. So it's hard to put myself in that place, like what an addict is going through. What are they thinking? They say something, but they're really meaning something else. It's hard. It's not easy. And when you start meeting people that are going through the same thing, that's where you start to at least understand what addiction is. And then you start putting your own pieces together, and it all makes sense at the end of the day. But there's nothing you can do.
This is real. It doesn't only destroy the person that's doing it. It brings down everybody that is around that person. It's not just a smoke. It's not just, I'm going to vape a little bit. It's a feeling you can't put into words. Hate to see anyone going through this. It's a very difficult journey. You're always walking in the unknown. I have hopes. I want to believe. And I hold on to that. I'm holding on to that. When going through it, it's hard to see the light. It's the constant, oh, he's going out. Is he going to go smoke? What's going to happen? And sometimes it's I've had to learn to breathe and let go. But it is still my problem. It is still my son. It is still somebody that I love and hold dearly to my heart. He was in treatment. He got discharged because he kept on getting sick. And he kept on getting hospitalized. So he got discharged, picked him up. He started feeling a little better. And he was doing okay up until probably about 2 weeks ago. And Sunday he came home and he's like, "Oh, I'm not feeling good." And I said, "Oh." He's like, "Yeah, I had some hot Cheetos and my stomach is just really not, you know." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So, went on about my day. I told my husband and my daughter, his twin sister, and we all look at each other and like, "Yeah, right, whatever." And by Monday, he was in and out of the tub. "I'm in pain. This hurts." To "Mom, hold me. Tell me you love me. Dad, sit here with me." Took him. I had a mobile IV come in Wednesday. Thursday, took him to the hospital. No, Tuesday we had the mobile IV. Wednesday we took him to the hospital. Yeah. So we're here. This morning I go up there and I said, "Hey, do you need anything?" And all I see is skin and bones. He's about usually about a 140-ish, more or less, 150 maybe. To right now, he's like 110. So can't keep anything down. It's Pedialyte, Gatorade, and hydration at the hospital or with the mobile IVs. I mean, he's been hospitalized at times for 2-3 weeks. We've been at this since Sunday, so it'll be a week tomorrow.
It hurts the whole family. It's not even so much that they're staying behind, because he's 9 years. Can't even keep a job. Can't even keep a job. And it just hurts the whole family. So it's a very difficult thing to go through.
We're a family of 6. We have 3 daughters, his twin sister, 2 younger girls. They're the oldest. They're 23. He's always had an amazing personality. He can connect with a lot of people. He has that personality, outgoing. This has taken away that. It's constant. You know what's going to happen when he starts smoking, and it's just a matter of time. And it's the hardest road to walk as a parent. You are seeing your child just fade away and you're like, how can I change this? What can I do to make this go away? We've tried everything that you can think of. We've done rehab, we've done sober living, we've done therapy, we've done, people come, oh, well, you need to do this, you need to do that. And I'm like, sometimes you just learn to stay quiet and not feel judged. You feel, unless you walked those shoes, you'll understand. Unless you've seen your child's life pass right in front of your eyes, you'll understand. And even then, you mourn that child that's still alive. You miss out on a lot of good moments. And you think, I missed out on that. But it is one of the most difficult things that I've had to do as a parent.